welcome to episode 14 of the Sheep and Cheerful podcast. My name is Nikki and I am your host and CEO, and this is a podcast about my endeavours to live as cheerful and as creative a life as possible on a day-to-day basis. I live down on the south coast of the United Kingdom with my family, with our two dogs, English Springer Spaniels, who do make frequent appearances on camera, and now with our chinchilla, Gilbert the chinchilla, who probably won't be making an appearance today. This is a podcast about knitting, mostly knitting, but also, I tried to make myself look really smart this morning. Well, not smart, but you know, dressed, put together. That's the word I was looking for. Sorry, I digress already. 2 minutes in and I digress. Yes, mostly knitting. There's crochet, there's weaving, there's spinning. I'm sure there will be dyeing every now and then, as in D-Y-E-I-N-G, not the other sort. Papercraft, journaling, I'm really into in a big way. Yeah, it's really about sharing our creative processes, I think. It's probably the best way to put it. So you can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry as Clara Peggotty. And that's about it. That's really the only places you can find me. Oh, I have an Etsy shop, that's true. I'm not going to go into that right now, but if you're interested in keeping a record or record cards of your knitting projects, you'll see it as I go through. I'll be holding mine up. You can download them from my Etsy shop, which is called Hugs from Clara. That's me. That's me giving you hugs, you see? See what I did there? I think that's all I need to say. I think we need to deal with the elephant in the room though, don't we? Let's be honest. Let's deal with the elephant, the big blonde elephant. That hasn't come out right. Excuse me. Do you remember last week I was talking about having my hair coloured and going lighter rather than keeping it as the dark sort of reddish brown that it was? And I was thinking about embracing the grey and really just allowing my hair to go lighter and then eventually obviously be totally natural. I'm not sure how this happened. But look, I'm all... Actually, I can do this. You get better. So, it's kind of blonde. Look at that. Look at all that. I'm a blonde. Never been a blonde. Well, when I was 3, I was blonde. Excuse me. So, I went to the hairdressers yesterday and this was a really big thing for me. I really didn't know quite what I wanted to do, whether to be brave and just go a silver kind of ash blonde, or whether to go darker again and just keep colouring basically. And I said to the hairdresser, I want to go light. I want to go as light as you can get, as blonde as you can get. And we talked about my colour, and she's very good at as she tells me, your complexion and what suits you and your colouring and blah, blah, blah. And so this is how I came out. I'm a blonde. I mean, I think I love it. I think I really love it. I'm not sure it will stay quite like this. I think this was the first stage because she had to put a bleach rinse through my hair to get all the other colour out. And honestly, I looked like the Cowardly Lion from Wizard of Oz. I had like this mass of hair, and it was like orange yellow. It was really quite scary. It wouldn't have looked quite so bad if I didn't still have all the grey, because obviously she'd stripped the other colour out. And then she worked her magic and did all that sort of stuff to bring it into a sandy blonde colour. So yeah, it's quite fun, I think. What do you think? I think every time I look in the mirror though, I feel like I'm something out of Game of Thrones or one of the elves from Lord of the Rings. I could do an Orlando blue. No, his is more white than this, isn't it? So yeah, forgive me while I just pop this up again. It's a little bit too warm to have that all over my shoulders. Anyway, yeah, so there we are. I'm a blonde. I should also say what, oh, see, I still can't get with this camera being sort of back to, can't do it. Anyway, this cardigan I'm wearing is my Rosa cardigan. I've worn it on the podcast before. You know that it's got the little pattern on the raglan there, and it's just that. So it's a cropped, I made it cropped, and I really like it. So I thought I'm risking wearing a white dress. How long is this going to stay white? So far so good, but I have a cup of tea here, so you know what I'm like with tea. Don't do well at the best of times with tea. So there you are. Anyway, I'm blonde now, so that's that. I also should say that it might be a slightly shorter podcast than usual. Some of you may breathe a sigh of relief when I say that. My cough, my asthma, whatever it is, nobody really knows, has been particularly bad the last few days. And apart from just generally wearing me down a little bit, it is quite problematic if I talk a lot. I'm hoping that I won't start coughing during this recording. I apologise in advance if I do. It's funny, the doctors ended up calling it asthma. We always used to call it my stress cough, and the way I'm feeling at the moment, stress cough, absolutely nails it. So anyway, it's fine, it's just life and stuff, you know, like you get. But if I am coughing a lot, I will probably cut the podcast a little bit short. So I just thought I'll put that there. And I think that was about it. So my week has been, it's been a funny old week. Funny old week. I'm not going to go into details, but it's kind of been a bit up and down, a bit roller coaster. But I'm still here. I'm in one piece and can't really complain about that, can we? Let me look at my notes. Oh, I know what I did, yes. Well, there were two things I was going to chat to you about. Hannah and I have moved my craft room round again a little bit. I now have no sofa in here at all. Various reasons why we did that, but Sunday morning when the boys were out, Gary was at the office and Joe was up with his girlfriend still up in Surrey. So Hannah and I had a big move around, and it's really good, and I had another clean up, and I'm going to be reorganising my drawers in here so that because now I'm doing more paper crafty type stuff, I've got so much stuff. So we nabbed another little drawer unit from upstairs that wasn't being used, so I've now got, you're sitting in a drawer at them, and one of them are there, the Alex units from good old IKEA, and then I've got two smaller ones, and one is for sewing, one is for knitting, and one is for the paper crafts. So I'm going to be organising that over this coming week, hopefully, so that my room becomes a little bit more workable in, shall we say. My desk is still in front of the window, which I absolutely love, and now I've got, the other desk is cranked up because I've got the big loom on it. I have taken a video clip. I did some sewing at the weekend, some dressmaking, and I did a little bit of videoing of that as I went along. My sewing machine then decided to have a bit of a hissy fit, so I'll talk about that a bit later. Anyway, I think what's happened this week as well is that I have probably hit the maximum number of crafts and hobbies that I can be undertaking. I think if I try and do any more, my head won't implode, it will explode. All over, everywhere, making a really big mess. So I think I have to rein myself in a little bit. I was getting to the point when, I was seeing so many ideas and so many things I wanted to do, and I think yeah, it was too much. It was too much, and I ended up not doing anything for a couple of days because I just felt totally overwhelmed by it all. And I think we probably all get to that, don't we? So yeah, I've taken that as a lesson learned to just, you know, pull back a bit, rein it in. Don't try and do everything all at once in one day. So that's where I'm at. I'm being, this maybe the blonde bit is the new responsible, sensible Nikki. Maybe this is the sensible me. If you believe that, you'll believe anything. Take more than hair colour to knock some sense into my head, I'm telling you. Anyhow, whatevs. Right, so, I tell you what else I'm going to share with you. I got some really great post this week. Lovely, generous Lynn down in New Zealand. Down there. Yeah, of course, it could be up there. We could actually be the ones on the bottom. Who knows? Anyway, Lynn had contacted me several weeks ago to offer a prize for our podcast, for our makealongs. And it was really lovely that she offered to do this, especially as she had to post it from the other side of the world. But she's promised a project bag and a skein of yarn, and I received them this week, so I'm going to show you because they are just, this project bag is just the bomb. Okay, look at that, how fabulous. I'm going to come a bit closer because of the light, might be a bit tricky. There, flamingos, and that blue is just amazing. And then the lining, I love this polka dot, this kind of pinky lining with the cornflower dots, and it's drawstring, and it's got, look at that is just amazing. I absolutely love that. So that, there you go, and so the handles are still there, but you wouldn't tend to use them, I guess, until you've drawn in the bag. But I just think this, and look at the size of it. It's got the box bottom, if you'll pardon me for saying so. So it sits up, and so, well, I'll hold it next to a skein of yarn so you can get a good idea of the size. But that was made by Lynn. She doesn't have an Etsy shop. She makes them just for pleasure. But I think that is absolutely wonderful. That is going to be a prize for our makealongs. And then the yarn she sent, which is really pretty, and actually thinking about it, this was the colour my hair was yesterday before they put the colour on. Look, it is the most amazing orangey yellow, and it really was actually, that's really close to the colour of my hair. But it's so soft. So this is from Dye Happy, DYEHAPPY, and it's the Grace colourway. Oh, it's got silk in it, that's why it's so soft. It's 80% New Zealand merino, 10% nylon and 10% silk, and the colourway is calendula, of course. So it's such a marigold colour, isn't it? So that's the tag. Oh look, I'm a bit closer. Beautiful. So if we then, so there's the bag, and that's the skein of yarn. You're going to fit probably 4. I mean, this could be a sweater project bag. Really could. There you go. So those two, and I will most likely keep those together. Not sure. Might do them as separate prizes. But thank you, Lynn. That was so kind and generous of you to, you know, stump up not only the prizes, but the cost of sending them halfway around the world. So that is really great. So, got a couple of things in my prize bag now, which is no longer on the wall, the Nitty City bag. I'm using that as podcast prizes. So, right, okay, let's wet the whistle. You watch me not spill it on my dress. Right. So, what else do I need to move on to? Should we talk about some knitting? I think we should talk about some knitting. Oh, am I facing the right way? That's the right way. Yeah, do you know what? Oh, two things I was going to say. First of all, apparently I used the phrase warts and all last week, and I can't remember what I said. But a couple of people commented on it and were laughing about it. Isn't it awful? I can't remember half the things I say on this. But that's me for you. And secondly, I was going to say I need to throw myself at your mercy because I haven't replied to any of the comments from last week. I'm so sorry. No excuse. Well, excuse is life, isn't it? I don't know why. I normally make a point of sitting down at the weekend and doing it. I think because I didn't have a particularly easy weekend. I think I just didn't get to sit down and do it. So I apologise if you've made any comments on the podcasts, either last week's or previous ones, from last week, then I apologise. I am going to go back and I am going to reply. So I do apologise. Please don't let that put you off commenting because it's really nice. I do read them all as they come in. The other thing I got caught out with is, and I might have said this before, that YouTube used to send me notifications every time I got a comment. Well, now they don't. Apparently when you get above a certain number, which obviously has got to be good, hasn't it? They don't send you individual notifications. So I have to remember to look because I go for a few days and I think, no, nobody's said anything about the podcast. That's a bit, meh. And then I look and there's like 20 comments that I just didn't realise were there. So that's just me getting my act together. So I do apologise and I do thank you. And I also thank you for watching because we're about 20, how far are we? Yeah, 20 minutes. And I haven't said to any new viewers, welcome. To any other viewers, welcome back. And now the dog's scratching on the door. There you go. Shall I let them in? What do you think? If they scratch again, I'll let them in. Mind you, I'm better off letting them in. Yeah. It's my little honey bear. He's my little honey bear. They're not Henry, so I don't know which way am I going. This is so rubbish. I know you're going to be all soppy, aren't you? Do you want to come up? You're going to come up? Come on, come on. She's going to do it. Come on, come here. Honey, come and say hello. Come on, come on. Hey, there she comes. Now, I guarantee you she's going to roll onto her back. There you go. Okay, so we'll just chat with Honey. I do. You're going to say hello. Say hello, everybody. Oh, you boo. She has to have her paw on my side of my head for some reason. I'm not sure why. It's very uncomfortable and disconcerting. So, anyway, we'll just carry on as if she's not here, really. Trouble is now, I've talked about all the talky stuff. I need to actually get my knitting out and show you. So we might have to put you down. Yes, we did. And they don't want to see you anyway. Well, they do because they love you, like I love you. Honey's got to go and have an operation. She's got to go and have a tooth out. But don't tell her. Oh, you've got to get to veterinary, haven't you? You've got to be a big brave girl. And you're not, are you? You're not a big brave girl. She's a softie. So I'm going to put her down now and then we're going to look at some knitting because, as you will remember, I'm swaying like you do when you have a baby. I am partaking in the Curious Handmade Mystery Knit Along, the Stillness Shawl, and I have been keeping up with all the clues. The clues come out on a Thursday, so there will be a clue coming out the same day that this podcast goes up. Obviously it's Wednesday today, but it was slightly shorter this week, the tasks. So I got it finished, the clue, at the weekend, so I've had a chance to work on some other projects, which is really great. So it just means I've got more to show you. So let's put you down there. You go under there. There's a good girl. There. Oh dear, let's get myself straight again. Yeah, you're not coming up again. So the Stillness Shawl. Oh, I need to do the whole spoiler thing, don't I? So, you know, spoiler alert. If you don't want to see this, then look away. If you're really not worried. So the Stillness Shawl by Helen Stewart, who is Curious Handmade. It's my project card. I've shown you this. I show you this every week. Clue. So on the back, I've actually written the clues when they've come out and when I've finished them. So if you can see there. So that's quite satisfying. So clue 3 came out on the 9th of July. And I was finished it by the 11th of July. So that was really good. And I am loving it, but as I say, the only thing is that it has kind of, it's monopolising my mind and my knitting time at the moment. So it was nice to have finished this clue and then to be able to do some other stuff. So here we go. Again, I will hold it upside down so you can see the latest clue. No, I won't. I'll hold it. It's difficult because of where the needles are. Yeah. So look away if you don't want to see. So this section here, there you go. So that was this week's, oh, there you can see me talking. That was this week's clue. And it's quite, so it's these little, little V's. Oh, I think they were called, I can't think what they were called. Ooh, what did she call them? She called them something. Stars. She called it a star stitch. Oh, they're kind of stars. So if I show you the right way up. There you go. So that's the section. So this is in my darker colour, which is from Hey Mama Wolf, from Jooles, who does a lovely natural dyeing. So it's now the whole shawl is that. So if we actually do it from, if I hold it from one end, you'll get a better. There, there. So yeah, looking quite a big old piece of work that now. So we are now, because if you know, Helen Stewart does the percentage system of completions, and we are now 59% of the way through. And it's looking rather lovely, and the yarns are lovely. They feel beautiful. So it's the brighter pink is the Lay family yarn. Hey Mama Wolf, Jooles is the darker one, and then this pink Stellina, the pale pink, which is the lace section, was one that was hand dyed for me, as I say, by my friend. So that is really coming along. I haven't looked at that for a few days, so that's really nice to be able to see that. So yeah, the next clue will be coming out on tomorrow, the 16th, and I think we've got about 3 more clues. I've got a feeling it goes to the end of July, but I just need to yeah, it doesn't matter, I should just keep doing it until the clues finish. So that's the Stillness Shawl by Helen Stewart. Now I was working on, just before the Mystery Knit Along started, I was working on another shawl that I had started called the Hummingbird Shawl by Johanna on Ravelry. I haven't decorated my project card yet, but yeah, Johanna. I'll put the details in the notes down below. And this was, if you remember, I was humming and hawing about my Hummingbird shawl and what colours to use. It's such an amazing shawl, this. And I had put it down, just trying to find you a picture. I put it down because it is quite involved and I wanted to focus, there we go, on the mystery knit along. But because obviously I got ahead, I was able to pick this up. So this is the pattern picture that hopefully you can get an idea of that. It's 3 colours. It's got brioche, garter, lace, so it's got a whole mixture of things, and it's knit in quite an unusual, oh sorry, I'm just getting my project cards muddled up there, quite an unusual style, and I have made progress. So I'd done the middle section when we last looked at this, and I'd had to, it was like that, so it was like a rounded triangle like that, and what I'd done is cast off this top bit, and then I was now putting in a border or a V kind of shape around here. Quite difficult to explain, but I will show you where I have got to. Not entirely sure what's the front or the back at the moment, but there you go. Again, let me come a bit closer. So you've got, can you see the colour? So we've got, so it's kind of, okay, let's do it like that. There, that's better. Still haven't got the knack of showing things on the camera, on this camera anyway. So I've done, this side was all short rows. Look at that colourway. Just stunning. I'll talk about the colourways in a minute. And then you finish with the short rows this side, and now I've come and I'm working on the short rows this side, and then the next section is another brioche, a 2-colour brioche section, and I think it's going to be around this whole edge here. I don't think, so what we do is we come back and we're going to pick up across the top of that middle section and add more height there. It really is quite a bizarre construction. There's already some, I've already done a little bit of brioche there, you can see, but that was the 1 colour. I'm now going to be moving on to 2-colour brioche, and as I say, I think it's going to be around the outside of this colourway that I've just been working on. It's amazing. And the joy of this is because it's in sections, the rows are quite short, and obviously it's short rows anyway. A note on this, I can't obviously talk too much about the details, but these are, to build this wedge at this side, they're obviously, I'm doing short rows. Now on the pattern she uses wrap and turn, I'm using German short rows. So I'm just adjusting, when you go back and you knit through all these and you do a particular thing on the pattern, I've just modified that slightly to incorporate picking up the kind of double stitches from the German short rows. But it's quite, you know, that's intuitive. I don't like wrap and turns, I can never get my head around them, whereas German short rows I'm okay with. So the yarns I'm using, if you don't remember or if you're new, I've got this Madeline Tosh. This is singles, and I'd lost the tag on that, so I'm not sure what colourway that is, but that's the middle one that I'm using. Then I have the Yoshi and Lucy, which is this amazing bright pink, real candy pink. I hope that's coming out. It's really hard to see on this screen viewfinder. That was, that's her Isabel base, and it's Pinkie Pie. The colourway is Pinkie Pie. And then the section, the yarn I've been working on is one of my most favourites, which is from Emily Yarnbrary, and this is her Sonnet colourway. It's again, it's the sort of the calendula, I would say. It's the marigold yellow and the soft peach and the soft yellows of that one. So that's what this is. So that's what I've just been working on. there's a stripe of Pinkie Pie here just before you start the yellow. And I think, I'm not sure which two colours I'm going to be striping for the brioche next, but yeah, that's really good fun. I'm so pleased. I only picked it up a couple of days ago. I'm so pleased to be able to have worked on that. So that's the Butterfly Shawl. It's in my Made by Rachel project bag, which I've had. It's relatively new, as you'll know, because I started buying Rachel's hexes for my English paper piecing project, and she makes her hexes out of the fabrics that she uses for her project bags, and it's just beautiful. It has this lovely little, see that little wooden bead on the zip pull there, and then I bought from the other Rachel the sew over it. Oh, Rachel, I bought, oh, I'm sorry, look at that little badge. Find the joy in every day, in the everyday. So yeah, love that. That project bag gives me joy as much as the project inside it gives me joy. Right, now the exciting news is, I don't get the bell. We'll talk about the bell later, but I have a half object. I have a ho, 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 ho. My other entry for the I Finished Mum make-along, which I will talk about shortly, was the Soul Sisters socks from Jules and Amy, So Sweet Violet and Tailoress Studio. They designed a pattern last year, I think it was, called the Soul Sisters socks, and I started knitting those, and then for some reason, unbeknownst to me, don't know why, and we've talked about this in the Ravelry Group, put them down, and I just couldn't get into the swing of them. So I entered them, or I kind of mentally entered them into our I Finished Mum make-along. And as we know, last week I finished the cocoon socks, so this week I was determined to work on the Soul Sister socks, and I finished the first sock. Ta-da! It's not on a sock blocker because it just isn't, but there you go. Look, it's almost like a spine, a big fish spine. It's not, it's far prettier than a big fish spine. There. Just to prove that it's finished. So if I actually put, there you are, do this, so that you can see there, that feather and fan, or the old shale lace. We've had this discussion before, haven't we? So that goes all the way up the front from the toe. It's a, Jules, I think, calls it a beanie toe, which is a really nice shape. I have to confess, I put my own heel in. Not my own heel, obviously, although my own heel is going to go into. Shut up, woman. I used the Fish Lips Kiss heel. That's my favourite heel. So I put that in. And this contrast colour is from Life in the Long Grass, but I couldn't tell you what colourway it is because it's just a little odd ball of leftovers. This is the unicorn tweed sock yarn, excuse me, I haven't said any end, from Charlotte Walford, who is Lottie Knits. It's beautiful. It's such, so you've got a kind of a striping effect there, micro stripes, but you've also got the neps, the tweed neps, which are just so pretty. So now the only thing I was going to say about this, oh, my voice went all high then. The only thing I was going to say about this, I used a stretchy bind off, and I never used to use stretchy bind offs whenever I didn't do toe up socks. Yeah, obviously I did this toe up, so I got to the cuff and I thought, you know, oh, everybody talks about stretchy bind offs, I don't want it to be tight, and so I did a stretchy bind off. It wasn't Jenny's stretchy bind off. It was the one where you knit stitch, bring it back onto the needle and then knit through the back of the 2 stitches together, basically, in a nutshell. But it's way too baggy. It's way, I mean, it does look like, as Amy used to say, like the crown on a roast lamb with the little paper things. It's way too baggy. And I put it on and it's really loose around my leg. So I'm actually going to pull that out and just do a normal bind off, because actually I bind off pretty loosely as it is. So I don't think I need a stretchy bind off on these at all. So I will be pulling that out. The same actually happened, I get it out again, on the Hummingbird Shawl. She said very loosely bind off that middle section, this bit here, and you can see how loosely. I didn't use a stretchy bind off. I just did a loose bind off, and it's I've gone a little bit too far there. So again, I may have to undo that and bind off a little bit tighter. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So yes, so with the socks, I believe the instructions give you can do toe up. Can you do toe up or top down? I've got a feeling you can, you know. I don't share too much again. This is a paid for pattern. There we go. Let's have a looky. Beanie toe. Oh no. No, it is toe up. And yeah, and their sock, they deal with the heel and the gusset a little bit differently to the way I did it. But that's fine. You know, you make it your own, don't you? But Jules and Amy, the Soul Sister socks, if you search for the hashtag on Instagram, there's lots and lots of these. Lots of people have made these or are still making them indeed. So sock number 1 is done. And sock number 2 is what I worked on at the hairdresser's yesterday. We've got quite a lot of foot. So that's where I was, the little ducky stitch marker. So I kind of put on a couple of inches at the hairdresser's yesterday whilst my hair was cooking. So I'm nearly at the heel for that one. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we're running the I Finished Mum make along until the end of August. So that's going to be done. That is going to be done. Right, okay. Right, that's all I've got to show you knitting wise this week. I haven't worked on my blankets. I've been weaving, but I'm not going to, I think, was it last week I talked, or the week before I talked about the weaving? Hopefully I will put together a little piece to show you next week about my progress with the blanket I'm making. What I will do here is insert just a short clip about my dressmaking adventures from the weekend. Okay, so this is the project for today. Vintage shirt dress by Sew Over It. Their Instagram feed is really worth following if you like sewing or you like to have a go at making your own clothes. I'm going for this one. I used to have a dress like that from Cath Kidston, but sadly over the years I grew out of it, and I was over the years, it was only a couple of years ago, and I got rid of it. I can't believe I got rid of it because it was beautiful. Anyway, so I decided to make one. So this is going to be a little bit dark because we're in the dining room. I've kicked Gary out. Well, he's gone out anyway today to work. And I have laid out the fabric, so I just thought I'd do you a tour of this. You can't really see the fabric terribly well because it's right sides facing. But I have pinned out all the pattern pieces. Oh, look who's there. Really? Sorry, I've got to go in for this. There you go. Yep, lying on his back for all the world to see. Well, he says they wouldn't see it if you weren't videoing, Mum. So, yeah. So, I've pinned out and I am ready to start cutting. But I'm going to go and have breakfast first. My little block that I made at my sewing class. Okay, I've cut out all the pieces. So fingers crossed. Now where can I show you on this one? So I've obviously put in, you can see the fabric a bit better now. I'll show you that when I turn it through. I don't know if you can see here, these are my tailor tacks. I was taught to sew by my mum some time ago, so there may be a more efficient way of doing tailor tacks, but I do them in deference to her, she who taught me to sew. So yeah, we're going to go for it. Oh, let's turn this over. You get a better view of the fabric. Can you see? There she is. It's Alice. It's Alice in Wonderland. Or it could be through the looking glass. I'm not into. Oh, there's the walrus. So I'm not entirely sure. I think it might be through the looking glass actually. So, apologies for the focus. And so, yeah, I'm going to have a little break and then I'm going to start putting it together. Right, so I thought I would just give you an update on where I got to with my dress before the machine decided it didn't like sewing with this fabric. So you can see that I've got the bodice at least partially together, modelled by the lovely Agatha, my dressmaker's dummy. So if we go in here, again, hopefully the light's okay, you can see I've got the gathered shoulder seam sits slightly forward on the shoulder. You can see where I think it's a revere collar, I think that's called, is going to be. I need to put the facing on that. And then there's pleats in front and back, just to give it that shaping. And hopefully you can see the fabric. I think, oh, and there's Henry. Off he goes, making the noise as usual. So yeah. And if we go over here, just while I'm here, this is the loom. That's where I've got the current blanket. And I think you can see, if I move that, I think that's quite beautiful. So that sits there and I work on that a little bit each day. Oh, honestly, it's like, yeah, we gotta be here. We gotta be here, Mum. Yeah, that's you we're talking to. Yeah, so that's where the loom is, and then that's where I sit and do all my other papercraft and bits and bobs. There you go, you got a bit of a craft room tour as well there. Okay, so that's where I got to with my dress. What happened was, because it was, and I'm not sure if I said this in the video clip, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but the dress fabric started chewing up in the machine. Well, it wasn't so much chewing up, it was that the machine was skipping stitches and not sewing properly, and the thread kept snapping. So I went through the process of changing the thread, I rewound a new bobbin spool, nothing was making any difference, and I was getting just a little bit frustrated, as you do. So I did something unheard of. I got the manual out. I actually went to the manual and looked up the problem. There it was, saying that I needed to use a blue-tipped needle, if you will, because I had tried changing the needle. I thought maybe I blunted the needle from some of the patchwork or some of the bookmaking I'd been doing, a book stitching. I'm not a bookmaker. But no, it said that I needed these finer embroidery thinness needles. So I thought, okay, I was beat. I thought, I'm not going to rush at this and ruin it. It's Liberty cotton lawn fabric, and the last thing I wanted to do was ruin it. I'm really excited about the dress, so I thought, no, I'm going to be patient. So I found a little shop online that sold the needles, so I ordered those. I put the rest of the dressmaking bits and bobs away, and I thought, no, I'm going to forget about it till next weekend, when I will get it out again. It won't be quite so space expensive, as it were, so I won't need to kick Gary off the dining room table, because I've got it all cut out. All the bits are manageable size now, so I can just, oh, there's a squeaky door outside, so I can just sew either at my desk here or on the kitchen table. So fingers crossed, I have my blue tipped needles, so I'm hoping, all being well, next week I will have finished my dress. So that's that little adventure. Okay, so that's a bit of sewing. I'm going to talk to you now a little bit about our Ravelry Groups, because, as I say, there's lots of exciting happy stuff going on in there. We have two make-alongs going on at the moment, and one spin-along. The spin-along is a small little group of us who are spinning for the Tour de Fleece. It's called the Hey Wait For Me, Team Hey Wait For Me, that's it. And there's a few of us in there. I'm doing appallingly. I don't know if any of you follow the Tour de France, but this year they're trying to do it on Zwift, which is a kind of a virtual bike tour. And from what I gather, it's not going super-duper well. Well, my spinning isn't going. We've got a couple of fabulous spinners though in the group. Check out their yarns that they're making. It's beautiful. Mine, I'm looking at it now, it's coming along. What I've spun is great, but I'm just not getting to my wheel at the moment, and I think that's also to do with the fact that I'm just splitting myself into too many different hobbies. Sorry, Honey's having a little walk around. She'll lay down in a minute. Excuse me, Honey. Oh, she's laid down very begrudgingly. I got a side eye look there. So yes, so that's the spin along anyway. And actually, although it's a Tour de Fleece one, I think we'll probably leave it open and keep going, because it's fun just to have somewhere kind of low key to share your spinning. So even if you're not spinning for the tour, do pop in and share your spinning endeavours with us. And it's nice even for non-spinners to drop in and have a look and see what we're up to. So that's really good. We've also got the Scrappy Blanket Adventures going on, which is a make-along that's open at least for the rest of the year for anyone who's knitting on or crocheting on a scrappy blanket. So do have a look. It's a super group. We've got so many wonderful blankets, and there's a general feeling now there are a few of us who shall be nameless, Sherrie, Helen, me, others, who are thinking about starting another scrappy blanket, because it's just so much fun. So do have a look. We've got some great patterns. There's a lot of patterns out there now that you can use. And when I say scrappy, it includes sort of minis, basically, minis and advent mini projects and all those sorts of things. So do have a look. It's really, really great fun. And we haven't got a finished objects thread up yet. I haven't put one up. I think Sherrie might have put one up in hers. I'm doing this as a joint make along with Sherrie over on the Ollie and Bella YouTube channel. Sherrie's having a little break from podcasting at the moment, but she's still running the Ravelry Group, and we are doing it jointly, so you can drop into either one or both of our Ravelry groups, and we both look at each other's group posts as well, so it's kind of one big happy family. Yeah, it's great. There's some really good stuff going on. I will be, once my Curious Handmade shawl is done, I will be picking up my blankets again and really going for it with those. My Bits and Bobs blanket was the one I cast on recently. My crochet cupcake stripe blanket by Attic 24 is probably about 40% of the way through. Yeah, and I'm loving it, loving it. So I know once summer kind of passes its peak, whenever that might be, then I'm going to be grabbing those blankets to work on again. Anyway, if you want to join in the chat, do jump over into either the Sheep and Cheerful podcast group or the Ollie and Bella podcast group, and show us what you're working on, and look at other people's. It's lovely. People are sort of interacting and chatting and getting ideas. We have a Scrappy swap thread going on as well in the group. People are posting some yarns that they're happy to swap, or in some cases just give away to a good home. Do come along and have a look there. Just contact the people either within the group or send them a direct message if you want to do a swap with them, or if you want to take them up on their offer of giving away leftovers. I am doing a swap with someone in there. I won't mention any names just in case that person doesn't want me to, but okay, Josie, we're doing a swap, aren't we? But we've both got hectic lives, so we're going to try and get around to that this week, hopefully. I need to wind mine up, and we're just doing 10 gram minis, I think. 10 lots of 10 gram minis. So if you have some leftover sock yarn or anything like that, just wind it up into a 10 gram mini ball or skein and offer to swap it, and it's great fun. So, and there are people suggesting that some people might like to do advent swaps as well, so that's another thing we can look at some point. And then the other make along we've got going on is the I finished mum make along, which is for anyone who's got any projects that are gathering dust or have been gathering dust, and that you really can't get motivated for, or that you really like but for some reason they keep getting pushed to the back of the queue. Pick those up, pop a picture in the chatter thread and say, this is what I'm going to finish. And then once you finish it, we'll all encourage you and cheer you on. Once you finish it, you can put a picture in the finished objects thread and say, I've finished mum, yay! And as a treat, you get a ring on the now infamous I've finished mum bell, which is dongerless. Because what is it? For me once, more for me. For me once, more for you. For me twice, more for me. Twice running this bell has broken on me. So instead of ringing it, I have the donger. I'm going to go. And the bell this week's only one. We've only got one. I finished mum qualifier this week, and that's Madzia. Magdalena Barry over in the USA. Magda, you get the bell this week. Magdalena finished a pair of shorty socks that had been on her needles for a rather unseasonably long time. I can't remember, I only looked in the FO thread. They looked to me like West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas socks, but I could be wrong. It's possible. I know, you're shocked, aren't you? They look like, yeah, certainly self-striping colourway or a self-patterning yarn, possibly from West Yorkshire Spinners, but they're lovely, really nice, red, green and cream. Go and check them out in the finished objects thread. Well done, Magdalena. Excellent. We did a yarn swap. No, we didn't. On my vlog, Magda won one of the prize draws that I did, and I sent her a whole bag of scrappy odds and ends. So, and I know she's been dipping into those from time to time. So that's really nice to be able to see that and keep going with that. So that is, I think, the Ravelry group. Oh, we have the Share and Pray group set up now, and we've been chatting in there as well. So once again, I would just say that if you are a Christian of any denomination and you would like to share any kind of faith-based testimony or story or request for prayer, then do come and feel free to post in there. I know these things can be very personal, so obviously well, I wouldn't make you anyway. I can't make you. Don't feel you have to. But we are chatting. There's been a few prayer requests which other people have picked up, and so we are praying as a community in our little podcast group for some of our friends within the podcast group. So if you would like that, do dip your toe in there. And if you feel too self-conscious about it, then do feel free to send me a direct message on Ravelry, and I can then put the prayer request up into the group for you. Along those lines also, I have also posted a photo. One of our lovely ladies, now you'll have to forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name. The French part of me wants to say Lièvre, but I'm not sure if that's right because you are in Belgium, and it may just be Lièvre. Anyway, she posted me, she was having problems getting a photo up into the group, so I said just drop it over to me and I will pop it into the group, which we did. It took me a few days to pick up her email because I'm rubbish at that too. But the blanket is now in the group, so if anybody struggles with that, let me know. Either send me a direct message on Ravelry. That's probably better. You can email me at nikki@clarapeggottyweaving.co.uk. I'll either put it on the bottom or I'll put it down below. But it's since I don't now weave to order, I don't tend to use that email address quite so much, but I am trying to check it. Oh my goodness, I'm using so many words, aren't I? But I haven't been coughing. Have you noticed that? I've not been coughing. Fingers crossed, that's really good. I'm just going to have a quick sip of tea. If you'll forgive me, I'm not going to make a big fuss and talk for half an hour about my tea, but that was a bit cheeky, wasn't it? Sorry. Red label, box standard English tea, if anybody wants to know. Right, what else have I been doing? Yes, very briefly. Does anybody know what an oxymoron is? Me and very briefly. There you go, that's a brilliant illustration of an oxymoron. I have been, as you know, loving paper crafts and journaling, and not scrapbooking per se, but kind of semi-scrapbooking, yeah, more journaling really. And I am just going to give an unadulterated plug to my niece, Lydia. I don't think she watches this because she's not a knitter, but she's lovely, talented artist. And actually, you can't see, but there's a piece of artwork up here that was by Lydia that she gave me for my birthday, which is lovely. And I am actually going to be working in collaboration with her to get some more pictures done for my little Etsy shop, either for project cards or for postcards. So watch this space. I can't really, possibly can show you. I'll show you an example. Let me see, she sent me over, we've been talking and liaising about some artwork that she's going to do for me. So yeah, let's show you this one. Hopefully this will. So there you go. There. So she's been playing around with these. This one I absolutely love. Let's show you that one. I think it's so clever and so pretty. And she obviously hand illustrates or hand paints these. But what she's also done is she's just graduated from university, so she's only a young'un. She's only a young whippersnapper, same age as my Hannah actually, and she has decided that whilst she's looking to get into the career, into the job that she wants to get into, she's going to pursue her art. She studied art at A-level and did lots of arty stuff. She's always kept it going. It's been a passion of hers, and she's started producing some patterns that she's some prints that she's put up in her Etsy shop. She has this week opened an Etsy shop, which I will put the details down below. It is in fact, and again I'm so poor at remembering things, let me find it, where is it? No, that's not the right one. Where am I? There we go. Link in my bio. Art with Lou. I'll put it across the bottom. So she's just got some weekly planners in there at the moment. And I have bought one and I had a little play with it today, and I was just going to share with you what it is. So a bit like my record card, she's selling the PDF downloads, and I think they're very, you know, it's £1.50. I don't know what that translates to in dollars, but it's pretty budget friendly, shall we say, and you can download the PDF and then print it off to your heart's content. So the one I chose to print is this one. Let's stand up and just hold it. There you go. So it's a weekly planner. It's undated, so you can write the dates on it. This is Liddy's artwork, obviously, the background, the flowers. And I printed that out. She's got this pinky purpley one, and she's got 3 others at the moment. I presume she'll be putting some more up. I printed this on card, and then I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do something a bit more creative with it? So I shrunk it down, and I have made myself a little flip over. Hang on, I'm going to come forward. There. A little flip over one. So I've made this sort of cardboard stand. I put a couple of the rings in there, and then each week you just flip it over for the next week. So, and this one will be for next week actually. Sorry, this is my logistics of trying to stand awkwardly. So you can see I've decorated that. This bunny here, no, this side, Peter Rabbit, that was a bit of ephemera sent to me when Karen sent me a load of scrapbooking bits from New Zealand. New Zealand? Karen, Australia. My bad, she's Australia. Getting muddled up now. And I put a bit of string, tied a bow. This is actually on the cardboard here, and then I just used some washi tape. And I'm going to put, when I write things in for my week, I'm going to put some stickers and things. And that's actually going to sit on my crafting desk. So I've got a record of what I do. So really it's just, it's a plug for Liddy. Support a new Etsy shop there. Up and coming artist. And yeah, and it's also to show you the sort of thing that I've been playing with paper crafting. I saw this idea on one of the Illustrated Faith videos, and I actually I haven't finished it yet because I started making it as a faith project, and this is part of the Armour of God. So I've got all the cards, or a lot of the cards printed, but I need to finish that off. But I decided to apply the same technique to a weekly planner, which I could sit on my desk and I can just print these off. And if I decide, you know, what I might do is buy a couple more different styles and just intersperse them, so they don't all have to be this pinky purpley one. So yeah, I don't get commission, but I did want to give Liddy a plug. And as I say, I will be sharing more of her artwork with regard to the knitting related projects, because I think there's quite a potential. I think we would all of us enjoy to use some really lovely, if we either translate it onto our project cards, or whether we have some little postcards or greetings cards, things like that. So I'll probably be playing around with that over the next few weeks, which will be really great. Right, I think that's probably enough. Having said I'm not going to talk for such a long time, I probably have. There you go, that's me for you, Mary Brazel, which is another saying that we say in our family. For those of you who are in the UK, if you remember, there was a comedian called Victoria Wood. I'm sure it was Victoria Wood. It was either Victoria Wood or Julie Walters, both very well loved British comedians. And I think Victoria Wood, did a stand-up, and she was a lady called, very very sensible, stoic housewife, didn't complain. That's what life, that's me for you, Mary Brazel. And now in our house, that's what we say, right, that's me, Mary Brazel. I am who I am, it is what it is. Do you know what? A little secret, every week I record this podcast and I edit it and I put it up and I think, what a load of old beep. I just think, what did I say? And I have all these highfalutin ideas of things that I'm going to talk about that are really crafty and creative and professional and all these things I want to share with you, and I sit here and I just talk a load of old waffle. Anyway, that's me. You know what I'm going to say now, yeah, Mary Brazel. I'll keep going. I will keep going for the time being until they have to renew my medication. Right. Do you know what? We had no Henry today. No Henry. You had a lovely bit of honey, but not much Henry. I did take a little video clip of them earlier. I was sitting at my desk doing a Bible study and I couldn't move my chair. And I looked down and I kind of saw 5 legs. I could see Henry, but then there was this other leg and I realised that they'd both wrapped themselves around the bottom of my chair. So I took a little video. I'll put that at the end. I'm also going to do a book review this week of a book called Narrowboat Nomads, which I would tell you the author, but I can't remember and I need to go and get the book. So that will be up in just a moment. Actually, it will be up immediately after this, but for me it will be just a moment because I've got to go. Do you know, I find sometimes I'm laughing, I can't talk, you know, I end up sort of coughing it out. Oh dear me. Anyway, that's that for you. What else? Probably that's all for now. So I shall say cheerio from this side of things. And I will see you, if you're not going to watch the book review or listen to the book review, if you've had enough of my dulcet tones going on at you, then I wish you a very happy Thursday or whatever day you are watching this, and a lovely week until we come back next week. That's presuming you do come back next week. I've got to stop this. But in the meantime, hopefully you will hang around for the book review because the book is a good one. It's a good one. So I will see you the other side in just a few minutes. Right, I'm back. It's actually about an hour later. So I had a break, even if you may not have done. I needed a break. Yeah, I think you probably do too. Anyway, enough of that. No waffle. Book review section. Right, the book I'm going to talk about today is one that I have relatively recently finished again, and it is Narrowboat Nomads. There we go, and it's by Steve Haywood. Now this is, I as usual came to this late to the party. I believe this is the 4th in a series of books. Because in the back of it there are 3 other books by him that are all previous to this one. But this one is the one I read. I haven't read any of the others. I picked this one up. I love stories about people who I've said this before, who sort of change things up radically and go to a different country to live and maybe set up a small holding, or that start life on a narrowboat. I love the stories of the narrowboats. Not so much the individuals. I like stories of families living on narrowboats. It's weird, there's a definite difference. Oh, here's Henry deciding to walk to the door. So this is Living the Dream on the English Waterways, and I really, really enjoyed this. The back, he's clearly done, they've had a boat this couple, Steve and Em. I don't know if she's Emily or Emma, I can't remember. And they've been on trips and holidays on the narrowboat, and he's done lots of trips around the country on the narrowboat. But this time they decide they are going to sell up their furniture or put it into storage, rent out their home, and decide to actually live full-time on the boat. And here we go. But how, after life in a 4-bedroom house, do they manage to survive together, squeezed into a space the size of a potting shed? Other books pretend to tell you about life afloat. This one shows you what it's really like. It's light-hearted, it's really interesting, and it is quite down to earth. I mean, he does spend some time reassuring you that although it sounds all wonderful and fun, they virtually row every day about something, you know, getting in each other's way, or the amount of stuff they've got, where it goes, where his wife puts it, where he moves it to, how they, you know, so it is very grounded or canaled because they're on the water. They also take their cat, which I find fascinating, called Kit, on the boat, goes to live with them on the boat, and it's really well written. I'm going to hold this here, I'm going to keep waving this around. What I found fascinating about it, and I think what makes this slightly different, oh excuse me, thought I was going to yawn then, definitely time for some coffee. What makes this slightly different from other canal boat books I've read is that he clearly, I think he was an ex-journalist or a writer, and he clearly knows his canal history. So it is smattered with stories and facts about the towns and the villages that they travel through on the canal. And that's what I find really interesting. He talks about stories, excuse me, the one I've opened immediately, he's talking about Maidenhead and Jerome K. Jerome, and I've already talked to you last year about 3 Men in a Boat that I read and thoroughly enjoyed. They talk about, you know, the chapter names are kind of, we've got Guns N' Roses, Down the Rabbit Hole, where they go past where Lewis Carroll allegedly wrote the Alice stories. They talk about of Queens and Castles when they go through Windsor, Capital Pains, through London, Secret Worlds, Westward Ho or Westward Woe, and he gives lots of factoids and stories about the tunnels they go through, about the town's history. It's really, really interesting, but it's not like a history book or a factual book. It's a really nice autobiography, but with a lot of knowledge thrown in there as well. And it's funny as well. He makes some really good observations and commentaries about the English and about English life. They do end up in Wales, but yeah, it's a really nice read. We were aware of a dreamlike quality to our trip. There was something far-fetched about it, something out of this world. It is a bizarre idea, living on a tiny, tiny boat. But it has that sense of, it does have a romantic feel to it, in the true kind of give up everything and go and live on a boat kind of romance, not necessarily love romance. He explains lots of terms that, you know, canal people use, the origins of terms, if you like, origins of things and etymology. It's really good fun. It's a really good read. It's not a heavy read. I got through it fairly quickly, but thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I would. Oh, I'm yawning again. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not going to cut that out because it's really quick and it'd be really awkward to get a job. I'm being lazy. I think I would read more of his work. I'm not sure I would go back and read the beginning 3 or the first 3. Maybe if you're interested in this sort of thing, it might be worth you picking up the first one rather than jumping in on the 4th. So this one is Narrowboat Dreams, the first one, A Journey North by England's Waterways. So that's him on his own. Yeah, he leaves his wife at home with that one. The next one, One Man and a Narrowboat, Slowing Down Time on England's Waterways. And that's when he has to come to terms with a big birthday. Not sure which big birthday, because, you know, that could be anything. And then the third one is called Too Narrow to Swing a Cat, Going Nowhere in Particular on English Waterways. That's when he first introduces his cat to the boat. So there's those 3, plus there's this one. So this one is Narrowboat Nomads. I'll put the details down below. If you fancy a really entertaining and educational, interesting read, then I highly recommend that to you. And the sort of the details and the fun, there you go, of living on a narrowboat with your husband. That alone has got to be a challenge, that sort of confined space. And we all thought lockdown was hard, but this, oh, crikey. Anyhow, that's the review. How long have I taken? 9 minutes, that's not so bad. Okay, time for me to go. Time to say goodbye. Oh, you didn't deserve that, did you, at the end? Thank you for joining me. Thank you for hanging in there. If you did hang in there, thank you for your lovely comments as always. And I hope you won't be put off, commenting down below even more. Actually, if you're not asleep, which I clearly am going to be very shortly. Yeah. I am going to head back to the kitchen and start making some dinner. Gary found out today he's anemic, and just by chance I had some steak for him and Joe for dinner tonight, so they can have that. And I don't know what Anna and I are going to have, but probably you don't really need to know, do you? Thank you so much for your lovely comments. Thank you for joining in on the Ravelry Group. That's great. I look at that every day and try and jump into conversations there. I hope you have a lovely week ahead. I hope all things go well for you and your nearest and dearest. I will look forward to chatting with you again next week. And in the meantime, as always, be more sheep and keep cheerful.